In the quiet kingdom of Lonlotte, one dark Saturday night, twin girls were born to Papa and Mama Orusa. Their father, a prosperous gold merchant who traded far and wide, named them Ero and Asaki. The birth of the twins brought immense joy to the Orusa household. Papa Orusa, proud of his new daughters, believed they were destined for greatness. As the twins grew, their parents marveled at how different their personalities were. Despite their identical birth dates and shared upbringing, the twins developed unique characteristics that set them apart from each other. From an early age, it was clear that Ero and Asaki were not only different in appearance but also in demeanor. Ero, with her delicate and slender frame, was often quiet and introspective. She enjoyed spending time in solitude, reading and dreaming of distant lands. Her imagination knew no bounds, and she often lost herself in her thoughts. On the other hand, Asaki, with her robust and lively nature, was outgoing and sociable. She loved being the center of attention and thrived in the company of others. Her laughter was infectious, and she had a natural charm that drew people to her. As the twins grew older, the physical differences between them became more pronounced. Ero's tall and thin figure stood in stark contrast to Asaki's rounder and more robust appearance. The villagers, quick to notice these differences, began to treat the sisters differently. Ero's slender frame became a source of ridicule and mockery. Children and adults alike called her cruel names such as skeleton and thin fish. The harsh words stung Ero deeply, causing her to retreat further into herself. She often cried in the privacy of her room, seeking solace in the comfort of her family. Despite the constant teasing, Ero found unwavering support in her family. Her parents, Papa and Mama Orusa, did their best to shield her from the cruelty of the villagers. They reassured her that her worth was not determined by her appearance and that she had a unique beauty of her own. Asaki, too, stood by her sister's side, offering words of encouragement and defending her against the bullies. However, the support of her family was not enough to shield Ero from the pain of rejection. The social groups in the village were particularly harsh towards Ero. Most of them refused to accept her, and those few that did took every opportunity to humiliate her. They would laugh at her, make snide remarks, and exclude her from their activities. The constant rejection took a toll on Ero's self-esteem. She began to withdraw from social interactions, preferring the safety of her home over the cruelty of the outside world. In stark contrast, Asaki thrived in the social scene. She had numerous friends and was a valued member of various groups in the village. Her popularity only served to highlight Ero's isolation. Amid the cruelty and mockery, Ero found solace in one activity that brought her immense joy and satisfaction: cooking. From a young age, she displayed a natural talent for creating delicious meals. Her culinary skills were exceptional, and she took great pride in preparing meals for her family. Whenever Ero cooked, the Orusa household was filled with the aroma of delectable dishes. Her family would eagerly gather around the table, praising her for her culinary creations and often licking their plates clean. Cooking became Ero's escape, a way to express herself and find a sense of purpose. In the kitchen, she was confident and capable, creating dishes that brought smiles to her family's faces. Her parents and sister recognized her talent and encouraged her to pursue it further. However, outside the safety of her home, Ero's reality was starkly different. The villagers continued to ridicule her for her slender figure, especially when she and Asaki ventured into the market to buy ingredients. The market, a bustling hub of activity, was a place where Ero's differences were on full display. The villagers' taunts were relentless. They would whisper and gossip, making cruel comparisons between Ero and Asaki. "Why did you suck Ero's blood?" A fish seller once jeered, insinuating that Asaki's robust health came at the expense of her sisters. The laughter that followed such remarks cut Ero deeply. Another villager chimed in, Watch out for the strong wind tomorrow, Ero, so you don't lose your balance. The mockery was unending, and it left Ero feeling dejected and isolated. Despite her family's support, the weight of the villagers' cruelty was a heavy burden to bear. One particularly harsh day at the market marked a significant turning point for the twins. The jeers and taunts reached a new low, and Asaki's patience snapped. She could no longer stand by and watch her sister suffer. "You should all be ashamed of yourselves," she shouted at the crowd. "Most of you have children, and if you don't, it must be because you are too bitter to have one. I am sure you have siblings, yet you behave like fools." Her fierce defense of Ero silenced the market for a moment, and Ero felt a surge of gratitude for her sister's unwavering support. However, the ongoing mockery and rejection took a toll on Asaki as well. When her boyfriend, Aru, ended their relationship, citing his family's fear that their children might inherit Ero's slenderness, Asaki was devastated. Aru's rejection shattered her confidence and filled her with resentment. She began to see Ero not as a sister to be protected but as the source of her own misfortunes. The love of her life had left her, and she blamed Ero for it. The once strong bond between the sisters began to fray as Asaki's resentment grew. Asaki's newfound bitterness manifested in hurtful ways. She started to sabotage Ero's cooking, adding sand to a pot of food Ero had just prepared. Ero was bewildered and hurt by her sister's actions. "Why did you do that?" she screamed, but Asaki's response was cold and cruel. "Shut your mouth, skinny witch," she retorted. The following week, Asaki poured something into Ero's bathing water, causing her to itch and scratch herself painfully. The once supportive sister had turned into a tormentor, leaving Ero confused and heartbroken. The public humiliation continued. When the sisters went to the market, Asaki joined the villagers in mocking Ero, calling her skinny skeleton in front of everyone. This betrayal cut Ero deeply, as the sister who once defended her had now become one of her tormentors. Their parents were at a loss, scolding Asaki and pleading with her to stop. "She is your twin sister, for crying out loud. I didn't raise you to be this way," their mother admonished. But Asaki's resentment had taken root, and she refused to listen. She blamed Ero for ruining her life, believing that Ero's presence had cost her everything she held dear. The kingdom of Lonlotte, along with neighboring kingdoms Mori and Bo, was abuzz with preparations for the Queen Maiden competition. This prestigious event, held once every decade, was a highly anticipated contest where each kingdom presented 3 of their most capable and beautiful maidens. The competition was a showcase of talent, beauty, and grace, with the winning maiden crowned as the Queen Maiden of the 3 kingdoms. The villagers in Lonlotte were excitedly speculating about who would represent their kingdom. As names were projected and debated, Ero's name was mentioned mockingly. "Who will put a skeleton forward to represent us?" a villager joked, prompting laughter from the crowd. Despite the ridicule, fate had different plans for Ero.